Welcome back, everybody, to another WWE 2K25 GM mode video. I'm with Jackson as always. We're going to talk about the new game, the new features that were just announced only days ago. Jackson, how are you, mate?
I'm well, thanks, Dan, and it was fairly atrocious timing for us to put up a 2K25 MyGM Mode wish list. It's uploaded after the details have released. And isn't it interesting to compare what we wanted and what's come out and one of the most glaring omissions we made in our wish list?
Well, exactly. One of the most glaring omissions that we both took advantage of, would you say? Because we usually play via share play, so we didn't actually think of this first feature that they've added in. And what is it, Jackson?
Well, the biggest feature announced so far for MyGM Mode in WWE 2K25, official here on 2K's WWE website, MyGM goes worldwide. Let's read it verbatim. Take your show on the road and challenge friends worldwide in the enhanced MyGM for WWE 2K25. Now with online multiplayer for up to 4 players. Draft WWE superstars and legends to your weekly show's roster and lead your brand multiple week seasons with the biggest selection of general managers, cross-brand PLEs, and more. So, already off the bat, we're seeing big improvements, and there's that glaring omission. I can't believe, like, I'm lost for words here that we didn't mention we wanted an online game mode, yet you've already shared why. On PC, it's worked a treat via Steam SharePlay. For those on consoles, I suppose, PS5, Xbox, God forbid this thing releases on Switch, if you can now get online across all of those, that's a game changer for the longevity of my GM mode. Forget about needing those higher expert difficulties. If you can always be playing this mode and playing with someone that you know somewhere, I mean, already that should be tough enough, provided you've got someone who's better than Dan.
Do you think it will work as in it has to be a friend you're playing with? You can't really verse a random, could you? It's not going to work like
100%.
that.
Imagine how frustrating that drop in and drop out would be if random said, like getting thrashed a bit like Dan is one to do and simply just drop out midway through a season. You lost your progress. Maybe someone could sub in. Yeah, the last thing I want to do is get into season 3 of season 5, be 1.5 million fans down, and just have an absolute uphill slog ahead of me.
No,
One other thing stands out here in this feature, and that's cross brand PLEs.
yeah, no, this is long overdue. The online, I actually thought it was in it for some reason. It was so
It's
completely
how we've
understand.
played.
Yeah, I
It's
know,
how we've
I know.
played.
Yeah, that is great. They've added that in. That is a much needed thing. That has it ever been in a game before? Have they ever had it? I
Not
don't
the
think they
online
have.
MyGM feature,
No.
no, because we've only had MyGM return to this series in the last few years. And
Yeah.
prior, couch co-op has been fun, yet now being able to do this each other from the comfort of your home, particularly on the couch for those console players, is a game changer. And
Yeah.
imagine
Well,
now being able to take a Steam Deck, your Asus, whatever the portable PC devices are, and play that from anywhere or a laptop. I
and
mean,
four
that's
different people
that's
can
phenomenal.
play, so that's great. Now the
Up to
next
4
one,
players, that's right.
cross-brand PLEs. I can't believe they've finally added it. This was probably the number one or up there anyway of features we wanted, but we don't know which PLEs they are adding. Right? It doesn't actually
Correct.
say.
Let's imagine here it possibly could be those big four. Maybe it's all PLEs across branded. The big four being Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, SummerSlam, and Survivor Series, which is possibly Survivor Series War Games. Who knows? With it being cross branded, perhaps we will get that narrative arc that we were wishing for in our wish list. I'm noticing here from the screenshot 2K have shared that they're still touting how many Hall of Fame trophies you earned, which we're not
No.
exactly too high on. It does mention in
Uh,
the screenshot here what show you're up to in the run. I believe it does say the city, which means
oh,
Little
you've got
Jack's
a
Squad, unless you've got
screenshot of
someone from
GM
there.
mode.
I've got a screenshot available on 2K's website. There's not much
Okay, check
detail.
this
It
out now.
still looks very similar. You've got your home, you've got your crew, your logistics, your roster, your your power cards. Not sure how I feel about them. Your career ranking. It does mention as well your total fans, your budget. It mentions what your show cost is, so it still hits everything.
What page is
Yet
this? Features.
this is quite literally features. What I notice is above where we mention here, my GMO goes worldwide. They're touting the expanded gameplay, and while this most closely relates to what's going to happen in those exhibition and match play modes, they're touting intergender wrestling is making its long-awaited debut in the WWE 2K franchise. So, if you can mix and match men and women's divisions in your regular exhibition matches, which I can't believe it hasn't been around sooner, surely you can do that in my GM mode. Maybe it makes things too unbalanced. Maybe it won't be a feature. Yet, based on what I said in that wishlist video, I am going to sit here deliriously optimistic, delusionally optimistic perhaps, that we are going to get that in MyGM.
Yes, I am looking at this screenshot now. I can see there's a few UI changes.
That's correct. Scroll a bit further down. A roster for the ages. The stack roster over 300 playable characters spans multiple generations and features XYZ. So 300 playable characters sounds awesome for my GM, yet how many of those playable characters are going to be 6 versions of The Undertaker, 8 versions of John Cena, with this being his last career as an active, or supposedly as an active performer, and then this is it?
Well,
How many are going to be Roman Reigns? How many are going to be Jay and Jimmy Uso with the bloodline being so heavily focused? Seth Rollins perhaps in Shield and then a few different iterations. I'm not going to hold my breath too much, and perhaps that's also going to include DLC, which I believe most of it or some of it has already been announced. A bit disappointing we're not getting that day one. That's kind of where things are at.
well, you're already hoping. I think someone like Penta probably won't make it into the game until DLC, I would say. But as they say here, they've confirmed Jade Cargill, CM Punk. You'd have to think Tonga Loa. You'd have to think the Samoan Werewolf.
The infamous
in the
Tonga Loa, that is.
Yeah, I'm definitely I'm gonna draft these guys. Don't you worry. I'm gonna run a bloodline story. Who's the other bloke? Tonga Loa. And
Tama
who's the guy
Tonga.
that Tama who? Yeah, we got him. We've got Motor City Machine Guns. So you've got a bunch of new talent that could possibly come into the game, I would have thought.
Some of these new talent are available, and we're yet to play as them in last year's MyGM mode, WWE 2K24. Jade Cargill, for example, who's mentioned that she'll already be in the roster. So, and you know, we did. I don't remember if we did or didn't include CM Punk in the last playthrough. Perhaps it's time we went back.
Oh, we did too.
And used quite a few of these
did.
legends and new DLC characters in our next season. I think maybe we've got one more we can squeeze out of 2K24 in the meantime.
Now, going back to this screenshot, I can see that there's a season 1 rank 2. As you said, they've got the 10 out of the 0 out of 10 Hall of Fame trophies, which is disappointing. The budget, the show 3 of 25, so it looks like 25 is coming back, 25 weeks. Most of those options, hopefully, they have added some customization, but you're probably looking at no changes there, sadly, which is disappointing, but I kind of expected that they wouldn't change that stuff just yet. As they're adding in these
Yet we
big
don't
cool
know.
features. No, we don't know.
We don't know. You might be more pessimistic than I am optimistic. Let's see who wins.
Anything else, Jackson, that they've added?
Based on the details released so far, I don't think there's too much here to comment on. Bear in mind, promos are back in my universe. Not that we play the mode. There's going to be more going in My Rise. Again, I couldn't give a damn. The Bloodline Showcase mode does look exciting.
Underground and Bloodline rules matches, which you'd think would be added to the.
Well,
to the
what is a
mode.
What is a Bloodline rules match? Is that just not a no DQ that's supposedly going to feature quite a bit of interference?
Well, here's what I do.
Too much.
Here's in my opinion what it should be is every 10 minutes 2 random feuds come out and fight and then leave. What is that else? What else would it be?
What I want to see is what we touched on in the wishlist video. More match types. Can we see those on the cross-brand PLEs? Link in 2 of our most wanted features for this year's MyGM mode. Can we integrate War Games, since it's been in the game series now for at least one of them? Can we integrate Elimination Chamber in here? If we're going to have cross-branded PLEs, those are the kind of matches that we want to see. And if it's going to be cross-brand PLEs, make them competitive. If it's going to be 4 people, again, maybe 2 of those GMs get 2 picks in the chamber, for example. Or if it's going to be 4-on-4 in War Games, you know, everyone gets 1 pick on either side. Or maybe 2 people team up. Don't know what that's going to look like. I still feel like I'm holding my breath here when I shouldn't. But any news is good news. And yeah, the online play and cross-brand PLEs is certainly going to help the longevity of this game mode.
You think Chavo Guerrero will be in the game? You can run Chavita versus Lita.
He fucking better.
I noticed. So, as you said before, intergender matches, that's great. You'll be definitely running that through the ground. If I have Nia Jax,
if we have that in MyGM. If we have it in MyGM, that is.
They might not do it. You got to think they would.
Well, how are you meant to balance, you know, how many women's matches, how many men's matches you can have on your show? Is that going to be part of the scoring like it was in the previous games to add to your variety and your overall show quality if you can have them in the same match? as I mentioned in the wish list, personally, I'd rather we scrap that feature altogether. I'd rather we make it more like Universe. Just give me show quality based on the quality of the stars, the quality of the feuds, the quality of the matches, the quality of the popularity. I should not have to have a blend of both genders in single gender matches. I'd
Well,
much
this might
rather
help you.
just switch that off.
This
Just
might be
look,
exactly what you said.
just like we managed to customize the game modes at the start to say, do we want power cards, budget, blah, the what do they call the shake-ups? Give me a
Yeah.
gender restrictions option and just turn that shit off. I want Rhea Ripley to win my men's belt, and I want Chavita to win my women's belt.
And then finally, I can see here bigger selection of GMs. So I'm guessing Nick Aldis might make it in. Someone like
The Rock's daughter, Ava, let's go.
yes, no, for sure. Yeah, Ava will be in it, no doubt.
Terrible.
And then
Terrible.
who's the other guy? The bald guy? God, I'm gonna
Adam
get
Pearce has been
blasted.
in it
Adam
now for a
Pearce. Oh,
couple.
he's already in it, right?
He's been in it for a couple editions. I believe not last year's, the year prior had both Kurt Angle and Mick Foley. Yet don't hold me to that.
Yep, that's
Perhaps
true.
we see some of these former GMs come back. Can give us Triple H, give us Steph, give us the GMs from at least the
They've
last
got
10 to
Steph.
15 years.
They've already got Steph.
Heyman,
Hunter, yeah.
Bischoff, just put everyone in there.
Yeah.
Regal was in there a couple years ago, and I don't believe he was in the last iteration.
Yeah, I feel like just
let's
throw
bring him
anyone
back.
that's been a GM, basically just throw them in. Like anyone ever. Biggest selection, I think all that's going to mean, as I said, is Nick, Ava, and maybe one other legend, I would say. But we're nearly done for our SmackDown vs. Raw. Only a few more episodes of that. Make sure you check that out, guys, if you haven't. SmackDown vs. Raw 2006 playthrough. And you can always check out our first 2K24 playthrough where I wiped the floor with Jackson for many seasons. That was fun. All right, Jackson, been a pleasure. Take care. See you next time.
Till then.